Hi everyone. Very good evening, good morning, good afternoon to you, wherever you're joining us from. I'm Rasha Khan and I'm your host for today's webinar, and I'm joining all the way from Bangalore, India. So would love to know where are you joining us from on the chat here. I was just quickly setting up the our live stream as well on the YouTube because a lot of folks are joining us there as well. So let me just also quickly put down my introduction on the YouTube live chat box. Folks who have joined in early, thank you so much for joining us early. And let me also just quickly open the YouTube live chat box as well. Folks who have joined in early, thank you so much for joining us. Sorry for the echo. Yes, I see the number of participants is increasing as we are moving closer towards the timing of the session. So yeah, let me just quickly put down introduction on the chat here. So let me just welcome everyone. So how you can introduce yourself is you can let us know your name, dropping us a hello on the chat. You can join us on Zoom, and you can let us know where are you joining us from. Whether you're an early bird or a night owl, thank you for being here. So we'll be kicking off the webinar together. But before that, let's quickly do introduction on the chat here. So you can drop us a hello on the chat with your name, and yeah, we'll start the session quickly. Folks who have joined us on Zoom, YouTube as well, and Zoom, you also can let us know by dropping us a hello with your name and where are you tuning in from on the YouTube live chat box as well. I see a lot of folks have joined us there as well. Awesome. So we have a very interesting session lined up for you, a free industry trends masterclass. And we'll be talking about the must-know full-stack Java developer career trends for 2024. We'll be talking about what exactly is happening in the full-stack Java development industry. And followed by that, we'll be covering the full-stack developer Java master's program by Simplilearn in collaboration with IBM. And we already have our expert speaker here with us, Geethika Koravanghat. I'll be introducing you to her pretty soon, but before that, quickly introducing about the program and the webinar. So this webinar is powered by Simplilearn, world's number one online bootcamp. We have been in the digital skills training space for more than a decade now, and we are very proud that we have transformed lives by empowering people via these skills. And the skill we'll be talking about today is the full stack Java development skill and the trends. Yeah, we have few quick ground rules for the session here today. This is just to make sure that you have a good experience during the webinar and even after the webinar as well. So I'm just quickly taking you through these basically rules here. I'll share them on the chat as well because I see a lot of new folks are joining and the number of attendees are increasing here. So if you have any question for our expert, you have to put on your questions in the Q&A box. So the webinar chat box is where we can see your amazing introductions coming in. And the Q&A box is just beside the webinar chat box if you have joined us from your laptop or desktop. And if you joined us from your mobile, you should be able to see it on the top. And the session is being recorded in case you want to go through the recording of the session once again. In case you missed anything, don't worry. We will, send you a follow-up email with the recording link to view. You should receive that within 24 to 48 hours. And then there is a webinar certificate as well for attending the webinar. So for that, you'll have to stay till the end. So this session is 60 minutes long. And once basically the session ends, just before that, I'll be launching a webinar certificate poll where we will need your full name, your details in the end. So not now, in the end, we will basically need that proof of attendance. And yeah, I'm there to help you out in any way possible. You can just drop your message on the chat or in the Q&A box. I'll be there throughout the session, so please don't worry. And yeah, moving on to our speaker introduction here. I would like to welcome Geethika Koravanghat to our webinar today. And we have a very interesting session lined up, Geethika. But before that, a quick introduction about Geethika. Geethika is a lead developer at IBM Software Labs with expertise in full stack development and software engineering. And she has a bachelor's in computer science and engineering from Kochi, Kerala. She has a postgraduate program in AI/ML from University of Texas. She's currently pursuing master's in data science from Deakin University, Australia. She's experienced in working on multiple cloud platforms like AWS, IBM Cloud, PCF, and Java full stack. And she's managed, multiple basically technical lead projects. I'm pretty sure, Gitika, the slide does not cover amount of skills and experience you have. I think we should know a little bit about you from you as well. So, welcome once again. Looking forward to hosting you, and yeah, let the learners here, audience know about a little bit about you.
Thanks, Rasha. Thanks for the intro. Yeah. So basically, I started my career 13 years back, and I'm bachelor's in computer science and engineering. So I've been employed with multiple MNCs like Wipro, Cognizant, and Experion, IBS, and Gadgeon. It's a product-based company. It's an IoT company. And then I've also been with TCS for some time. And now I'm with IBM Software Labs, working as a lead developer for one of the multi-cloud SaaS platform projects. So my tech stack starts with Java, core Java, and then slowly evolving into full stack development in 2015. And then right from there, I was totally into full stack and cloud, even containerized applications. Yeah, so that's how it goes. And on top of that, I out of my personal interest, I'm also trying to dive into the world of data science. And as part of that, I've completed the artificial intelligence and machine learning postgraduate program from University of Texas, and currently also pursuing the masters. Yeah, so that's about me. And really looking forward to share whatever I have with you all, and hope you all have an enlightening session today.
Thank you so much, Gitika. Thank you for your amazing introduction here. And yeah, I can see the curiosity and excitement here on the chat as well. I think we've gotten some amazing introductions globally. Folks have joined us, from Nigeria, India, and Kenya, California, I see US, and a lot more introductions there. So maybe let's start with the agenda of the session today before we move forward. So the first and the most important agenda of today's session is about you, getting to know you a little better, how we can help you out in a career better. So that is the focus of the first agenda and the most important agenda here. And the second agenda of today's session is the must know full stack Java developer career trends for 2024, where Gitika will be deep diving into the Java full stack developer trends and also answering any questions you might have as well. Questions can go to the Q&A box as mentioned earlier. And followed by that, we'll be covering the Simplilearn's Master's Program in Full Stack Java Development. This is in collaboration with IBM, and what exactly this program offers. Based on the interest you share towards enrollment into the program, we will be sharing the enrollment steps quickly. We'll be covering the program fee, the upcoming schedule, and also the steps to enroll as well. I also will be sharing the scan code of the program as well in case you want to go and check out the program and download the syllabus and check out any other program as well, after the webinar. And last but not least, the Q&A. So the Q&A is secured towards the end in order to make sure that we address, as many questions as possible during the, time duration we have in hand. You can put down your questions throughout the session. It can be anything about the topic, it can be anything about the program, and we'll try our best to answer your question. And please have a little patience in case we are not able to answer it immediately. We'll take your questions in the Q&A part of the session. So please don't worry, just have a little patience and keep your questions related to the topic here. That sums up the agenda. And then I think the first agenda, right? Let's get to know you a little better. So apart from amazing introductions, let's also get to know how many years of experience do you currently have. So I'm just launching a quick poll here, which has 4 options you can choose from. one option which is the most suitable for you. So the first one here is less than 2 years. And the second one here is 2 to 5 years. And the third one here is 6 to 10 years. And the fourth one here is more than 10 years. I'm so sorry, I was looking at the chart here. Also, meanwhile, you folks are already, started voting for the poll here, sharing your responses. Let's also do a quick sound check here, sound and if the slide is visible. So if the slide is visible to you and my voice is audible and clear to you, and Geethika's as well, we'll check that later. And you can let us know by responding yes or no on the chat quickly. So that would be very helpful. Thank you so much. And in case you're facing any issues, you can also highlight that as well. Not only now, even during the session. So we'll just take a moment and try to check that for you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I see a lot of yeses there. So we're good to go. Great. And I see most of you responded for the poll here. So let's give 10 more seconds for the poll. How many years of experience do you currently have? Now, when I talk about experience, I'm talking about general work experience. So not full stack or software engineering particularly. So it can be overall anything you could share done. Awesome. I think last 5 seconds for the poll here. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me end the poll and also share the results with you folks and our expert Geethika here. Let's see what have you voted for. I see 67% of you voted for less than 2 years, 18% of you have voted for 2 to 5 years, and 0% of you have voted for 6 to 10 years. And interestingly, 15% of you voted for more than 10 years. So that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. It definitely gives us and our speaker understanding, what kind of audience with the experience has joined us. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, quickly moving on towards the next agenda, the topic of the industry trends. Must know full stack Java developer career trends for 2024. Starting with how does FSD, is in the web gets built. So over to you, Geethika.
Thanks, Rasha. So once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to this session. And let me start with a beautiful quote. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step, right? So I know you are all trying to, get into that journey with the single step, which makes the difference. So let's dive directly into the topic. So what is full stack development? So we know when there was long back when things were all managed in papers, and then it started evolving into software, and then now we have the software shipped into containers and deployed onto cloud. So right, so if you think about full stack development, you can let me take a simple analogy. So if you're building a house, we have carpenters, we have electricians, we have plumbers, and there is a contractor, right? So carpenter might be interested only in the wood or the doors, that the windows and all those stuff that is built out of wood. And electricians, they look into the wiring, plumbers look into the pipes and all that. But contractor is a person who should know end to end, and that will help us in building a beautiful house. So the same way, if you consider a software, you have a lot of stacks: front end, back end, and database, and a lot of things like that. But full stack developer is someone who knows end to end. So and that makes it the best way to deliver a software, I would say. So what is full stack development? It's front end, back end, and the database. And so right now we have a lot of stacks. You would have already heard about MERN stack, Mean stack, LAMP, then Django. We have a lot of them. Apart from Java full stack development has, I would say it has a strong base and was present in the industry for some time now. But these are, evolving and pretty new, I would say. Yeah. Rasha, over to the next slide, please. Okay. Why is it so popular? So, if you consider enterprise level applications, a lot of them have this question: is Java full stack better, or when we have main stack or merge stack, which is quite easy to adapt and easy to implement, why do you still have Java full stack? But if you look at that point of security and the robustness of applications, enterprise level applications would still I would say go with Java, because the robustness and the scalability and security that Java provides is it stands apart. So, and again, coming to full stack development, why would we need full stack developers? Because if you look at the industry, how it has evolved, how software development evolves today, it's it has changed from waterfall to agile. So organizations actually benefit a lot by implementing the projects in agile methodology. And in agile, it's all fast paced. So if there, for example, if there is a bug, if we have a full stack developer in the team, you just give the bug, and the full stack developer, he'll be able to look at the application end to end. He will not be hesitant to take it, saying it is back end and I'm a front end. No, there's no such difference. So when it comes to a full stack developer, he'll be able to analyze the bugs and put in the fixes end to end in whichever part the particular issue is. So that is a benefit for the organization, and it is also a benefit for us developers, because it basically makes us versatile and flexible. So for organizations, they do not have to hire a software developer who is only front end developer, or a person who is primarily a back end developer. So they, for them, it's also cost savings, right? So that's the way in which the organizations and we developers benefit out of being a full stack developer, right? And like I already mentioned that we are in an agile world. So there we have very fast moving development cycles and testing cycles. So in that case as well, full stack developers are they stand apart when compared to primarily backend of front end developers. Yeah, Rasha, over to the next slide. Yeah, so coming to the details about Java full stack, um, can you tell me, can someone tell me if they really think mean stack or merge stack stands apart compared to Java full stack? Do you think do you think it stands apart by any chance? I'm sure you would have read this in multiple places about this. Yeah, so what I would say is, Java has been here since a long time, and it has really proven for its robustness and scalability. So for me, enterprise applications would always go for Java. So if you try to what you would have read or what you have thought about is that um, enterprise applications, I mean the big companies, they have the budget or things to hire a Java full stacker. But for medium tier or small tier companies, they would always go for main stack. No, it's not the case. So the applications which need to be robust and scalable, and even security. So if you, for example, consider a banking application, it is never going to end. So there, I would still suggest that we have Java, and learning Java full stack development in this era when we have mean stack and merge stack, it's not going to be a waste. It takes some good time for you to learn the end-to-end concepts in Java, but it really, is worth investing. Because like I said, we the big industries, they already have a lot of enterprise applications. So you might have already thought they have the high budget to take full stack developers. So that's what we need as well, right? So we have we'll ultimately get the experience of working in big tier companies, and also get paid with that higher budget. So and coming to Java full stack again, Java has always got the best community support in the industry, and it has a very strong ecosystem. So it would really help the industry, or help the organization and us developers, if we are into Java full stack development. And yeah, over to the next slide. Yeah, and one more thing, compared to before, what I would say is, in 2024, what you would want to know more is like microservices. We have a lot of complex applications which we are now splitting down into smaller services, which we call as microservices. And sometimes we also have serverless applications, right? And even reactive programming. These are all places where you can show your interest towards full stack development, and even come up as a full stack developer. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, so a bit, I saw in the poll that you are like, most of them are from the experience of 2 to 6 years. So I would say this is the best time for you guys to actually dive into full stack development, and gain the grip over the industry. Because that is where you will not have to unlearn a lot, right? You are still learning, and you are in the junior tier. So front-end development, if you look at, what you would need to know is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React and AngularJS. So we know React is the part of the MERN stack, R in the MERN stack, and Angular is the part of A in mean stack, right? And in backend development, you have to know Java, plus the supporting frameworks for Java enterprise applications, that is Spring Boot, Hibernate, and database. Database, it can be an NoSQL DB or an SQL database. Plus, if you know DevOps on top of front end and back end, then there's nothing more to it. You have to know CI/CD pipelines, and how you deploy into cloud. That will make you a end-to-end full stack developer, and then you will have all the sound in the industry. Yeah, over to the next slide.
As you're speaking about the both stacks here, we actually have got one question here, which you might have already answered. I'm just taking that from the YouTube live chat box. One user says that which stack is better for beginners, and also Java is tough to study compared to other stacks.
Yeah, so let me clear that. Okay, so Java is not a difficult thing to learn, because we have all completed in our engineering courses, or in our bachelors. We would have heard about object oriented programming, right? That, plus today's functional, that is, if you have the basics right in Java, then it's really easy to because the main thing here is, in enterprise applications, you actually have a lot of business logic, right? So that way, if you get involved into an enterprise application which is on Java full stack, you are actually also improving your problem solving skills, right? And that will actually improve your visibility onto Java. So I would say learning Java is not difficult. I agree, it is a bit more time consuming when compared to MERN stack and mean stack, but yeah, it's really worth investing, because I'm pretty sure it's not going to move away from the industry very soon. Because if you compare, for example, I'm taking a Golang example. Okay, so we have, suppose recently we know a lot of the technology is based on Golang these days, but right now Golang is not so evolved that it can solve all the problems that Java is solving. So the same way, the evolution of Java has been so rigid, and yet I mean, it's really broad with the also strong ecosystem that Java already has. So it's not really easy to remove Java from the industry soon. So it's always worth investing time into Java full stack is what I opine. Yeah. So
Thank you so much for answering that, Geethika. I hope that answers your question from a user on YouTube like chat box. Let us know if you have any follow-up questions. So,
yeah. So here I've just depicted an architecture of a Java full stack. It's a simple Java full stack application. It can it has a lot more to it, but in the interest of the juniors also in this webinar, I would stick to this. So here you can see on front end we have React.js and Angular, and on back end you have Spring Boot application. So in a React application, you will have the routers, and then you write it as components, and in the services you call the backend APIs that are written. It will be an HTTP call using Axios library or any other library, and then on the backend you have the controller service and the repository layer talks to the database. Yeah. So, and if you see on the right side, I've just depicted some common tools that tools or the programs programming languages that we use. Java plus the framework, Spring Boot framework we have, and Maven and Gradle are the build tools. MySQL, we have some databases: MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, Postgres, Mongo. And then on the front end, you have HTML, CSS, JS, Bootstrap, then React plus Redux. Redux is a good, on top of React, if you know Redux, it adds a lot of value to it. It's basically used for state management. And then, like I said already, now we have, applications are Dockerized. So learning Docker also adds a lot of value to it. Yeah. Over to the next slide. Yeah. So here, this is a life cycle of a software, and I'll like just walk you through this. What happens in the life of a full stack developer? So we initially plan for a software. We have some requirements. We write the code that gets checked into the source code repository, and then you build it using Maven or Gradle. That comes as part of the development, and then you write the unit tests or the automation tests for the source code that you've written, which comes under quality control. And then you release this after testing is complete, you release it. That's where the CI/CD comes in. CI/CD is nothing but continuous integration and delivery of, like I said, it's already agile. You deliver small versions of your software rather than, like earlier in Waterfall, we had a major release and you release everything all together at the end of the third quarter. It's instead of that, now we have like 2 week sprints wherein you deliver a particular feature in that software. So CI/CD becomes really important because of that. And then you deploy it into our cloud or wherever you are hosting it, and that's what you have provisioning there, depicted there, provisioning an instance for this particular application. And then you can operate it as a containerized workload or virtual workload. And then you do the monitoring using maybe Splunk or Grafana and visualize it on Grafana. So that's how. So basically I would say, like, if you are a junior developer who's trying to step up into the world of full stack, I would say you should concentrate on the left side, wherein you can try to learn the front end and the back end development, the whole stack. Plus, as you evolve, you try to also concentrate on the right side, wherein you are also pitching in into the operations part. You try to deploy it on the cloud and via a CI/CD pipeline, and then containerize it, and then that's how. So that's how you should start evolving into the world of full stack development, and then become a proper full stack developer. I would say the entire DevOps is also part of a full stack developer's life. Yeah. Over to the next slide, Rasha. Yeah. So now I have some idea. I would like to shed some light on some of the ideas for a full stack Java developer. So right now I can feel that, like, how do you step up to become a full stack developer? What is it that you can do? So what I would suggest is, if you are deployed in a project and if you are asked to do a particular part, that is maybe front end, if you're assigned some front end work, try to slowly dive into backend development also. So that way you can that might be on your extra effort, or it might be counted as an extra effort, but still, if you can dive into backend, that's how you can take it parallelly. So that way, at the end of the project, or at the end of a year, you would have the flexibility to own a piece in front end or back end, and that is how you will slowly transform yourself as a full stack Java developer. So yeah, now moving on to some of the projects, like for example, what we have seen is an e-commerce website. You All of us do a lot of orders on Amazon, right? So here in your store, you can see a lot of products listed. You add to cart, and when you log in, you have to initially you log in, and you get a particular your own specific cart which you are adding the products into. So here, if you see, you have an application. It might be over web, it might be over mobile app. So that's how your user experience looks like. That's the front end. And then if you look at the backend, you have the user authentication, right? If you are logging in, if you're trying to log in, you are being authenticated with the backend database. Okay, this is a particular Amazon user who is trying to log in. So that's where the backend comes into picture here. So here, what you can use as a backend is a Spring Boot application with a front end like React or Angular. And then apart from what you saw earlier, like I mentioned before, you also have something called microservices, right? So as full stack evolved, so was microservices, because now we are all moving away from monolith to microservice. So um, all the UI, and then backend itself, it has order service. For example, I'm taking this e-commerce website. It has an order service, it has a payment service, it has checkout. These are all portions of backend which are written as different services, and these are going to be microservices. So ultimately, you are going to have 2 repositories on front end and 3 repositories on backend. If you know all the end to end, if you can work on all these services, then that's where you can say that you have turned into a full stack Java developer, right? Yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah, blog platform. So we are all familiar with blogs, right? So again, there we again need the same, right? You have a content, you can add comments to it. You have to store the details about the user. So that's again a Java application. That can be a Java application. And then you can have a database which is a MySQL. Here I'm taking a SQL database. And then you have a front end which you can use React or an Angular application. And then social media. So like I mentioned before, along with microservices, we also have reactive programming, right? So I mean, that's where these are the evolving trends in technology where full stack developers are of great use. That's what I would say. So here we can we again have, everywhere we need user authentication. So that's, I'm not speaking much about it, but here in social media platforms, you have a lot of real-time updates. Again, if you look into a chat-based application, we have a lot of chatbots everywhere now. In every website that you launch, you have a chatbot. So even there, we need a WebSocket or Kafka communication. That is a producer and a consumer trying to read and write into a particular topic, right? For real-time updates. So that's where reactive programming comes into picture, right? And then you also have serverless. That is, we have in AWS, if you see our cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, IBM Cloud, wherever you host your application, you have a serverless platform. AWS has something called Lambda, right? So there you don't have to bother about what server or how it scales up and all that. You just have to have a requirement and try to tie that up with the Lambda. Then it's a small short running application. So basically, if you need to know where to use what, you should really dive into it, right? So that's where serverless applications come into picture, right? Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, real-time chat application I already mentioned. So here also again, it really helps building a scalable architecture for high traffic. Again, job board, Naukri or any other job portals, where you have to maintain the database with job seekers and the employment opportunities. That's another area where you can try out building a full stack end-to-end application using front end and back end. Yeah. mm, yeah. Yeah. So the next slide here, you can see the career paths. So I would again say this: the first step is often the hardest step, right? So if you take the first and the hardest step once, then you have all the options that are listed in front of your screen right now, where you can shift into. That is, if you are a full stack developer once, then you always have the opportunity or the flexibility to be a front end web developer, back end web developer, or a software engineer, UI developer. Yeah. And like I said, you ought to know end to end about an application, from front end, back end, DevOps, how you should containerize it, how you should deploy it into cloud, right? How or what are the options that are available when you need a serverless application. These are things which you should dive into, and probably that's where that's how you can transform yourself into a software architect. Because when you're having a problem, you should know how to tackle it or how to come up with a solution to it. Basically, for example, if I'm telling you, like we have an entry in our database, and when such an entry comes into the database, we need to send a notification to a customer, or send a mail notification to another customer. So these are things where, like, you can even use the serverless application like AWS Lambda or the code engine, right? So for that, you have to actually step up and get to know the applications end to end, and how to use the features that are available in cloud, right? So, and even today in machine learning, we know like we need scalable applications, right? Like we have a lot of data. So even there, we have a lot of Java openings available, right? And again, yeah, so that's the reason why we have Gen AI engineers and DevOps engineer. Like I said, if you remember the right side of the picture that I showed, that's where the DevOps engineers come into picture. Yeah. So yeah, that's about the career paths that will open up. um yeah, over to you, Rasha.
Thank you so much, Geethika, for taking us through the full stack Java development trends and talking more about, deeply about what's exactly is full stack Java development, and more about, what is happening in the industry as well, and how you can basically, do these projects, add these projects to your portfolio to enhance them. We'll be talking more about that and the program as well, but also the companies which are hiring for this role. So Amazon, Microsoft, CGI, Pearson, Wells Fargo, KPMG, IBM, themselves, and Salesforce, Essential, and hundreds more, just to name a few of them, among hundreds of them. And we've started getting a lot of interesting questions from you, really good questions on the webinar Q&A box, and also on the AWS chat box. And we are very eager to address them. And this definitely shows your curiosity towards, a career in full stack Java development, and to know more about it. So you're here because you're interested, and you're exploring. So we would also love to know what is stopping you from becoming a full stack Java developer. So I'm just launching a poll. This one is a multiple choice poll. So you can select multiple options in this poll and submit, because there can be multiple challenges or concerns, right? And yeah, I'll just read out these options for you as well. as you have already started voting, you folks are pretty quick there. So the first one here is I can't find a program with a fully comprehensive curriculum. Second one, I don't have the practical exposure I need to become job ready. And the third one, I find it difficult to learn from pre-recorded videos. And the fourth one, my work schedule won't allow me enough time for learning. So I see most of you have already started responding. That's great. Folks who are watching us live on our YouTube channel, you can also let us know by responding on the YouTube live chat box with your questions or basically the option which you feel like, okay, this is something which is a concern for me when it comes to pursuing a career in full stack Java development here. Awesome. Also, we can clearly see there are so many, good questions in the Q&A box here. And I see a few questions incoming in the chat box as well. I see Neha has asked one question. Please move that to the Q&A box for our expert Geethika here. And I see Aminu has asked, a really good question as well. Please move it to the Q&A box quickly because we wouldn't want to, miss your questions in the chat box here. And as we move on towards the Q&A shortly, we might actually miss them. So in the end, so because of the chat flow here. So thank you for understanding and help us with that. I see responses coming on the YouTube chat box as well. So last 5 seconds for the poll here. What is stopping you from becoming a full stack Java developer? Awesome. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me quickly end the poll and share the results with you folks and our expert Geethika here as well. Let's see what are your concerns. 52% of you have shared that I don't have the practical exposure I need to become job ready. And 48% of you have shared I can't find a program with a fully comprehensive curriculum. And 15% of you have shared that I find it difficult to learn from pre-recorded videos. And I see 33% of you have basically shared as a concern the fourth option. My work schedule won't allow me enough time for learning. That makes sense, right? A lot of you are working professionals. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now, quickly moving on to the introduction of our full stack Java developer program. This program is in collaboration with IBM and it comes with a program duration of 6 months. And in this, we'll be talking more about how this program comes with a comprehensive curriculum and industry and learning path, deep diving into the learning path of the program quickly. And I think few questions about the job and how exactly this program will give you a practical exposure. For that, we actually have integrated case studies and hands-on projects for practical experience, which you can work on. We'll be talking more about that. What are those projects? How exactly this program is hands-on? And the format of the classroom is live virtual classroom. I think one of the concerns there, you are not interested only from learning from pre-recorded videos. So for that, we have a classroom which is live, most of the classes which happen. And this is with interaction with the instructor and the peers as well who join you globally in this program. And keeping in mind that you folks are working professionals, majorly, or many of you, and you might have other commitments as well. So the duration is 6 months, but you can just complete it by giving 10 to 15 hours per week of your time. And yeah, moving on to the learning part of the program. So Geethika, if you can take us through how exactly this program builds the learners full stack Java development skills step by step. Starting with, there is a welcome class which happens from Simplilearn. This is for the full stack Java developer, students here. And moving forward to the learning path here. So over to you, Geethika.
Yeah. Yes. So, like I said, it starts, I mean, we have the first user experience, what the user sees, that's the UI, right? So, we have a first session that is on planning and designing the user interface. And then what fuels the backend? It's always the data structures and algorithms that you have, right? So if you see any stack or a queue or a linked list or whatever data structure that you have, how it works and what's the complexity, that's always important, to derive the overall complexity of the program or the method that you've written. So that's another topic that the program would cover. And then we would also dive into the end-to-end A to Z of backend and along with database development, right? And then API endpoints and communication. So Like I said, if we have a lot of services or the APIs, how the API calls happen from front end to the back end or between services. That's what will be covered in this particular session. And finally, we'll have a capstone project wherein you will come up with an application end to end, from designing the UI screen to the database. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Geethika, for taking us through the learning path and also talking about the electives. We have this in collaboration with IBM, right? And where they get the IBM SQL and relational databases, one-on-one certificate, and IBM reactive architecture, reactive microservices as well. And they learn all things integration and deployment. And yeah, then we have tools, libraries, and platforms. We also will be covering in the program. Maybe you can shed some light. I know you've already covered a little bit about it in detail, but maybe what are the most important tools here for basically which the program covers? We've gotten a few similar questions as well that might actually help answer that. Geethika, I hope you're able to hear me.
Yeah. Sorry, Rasha. I think I missed you for a second. Yep. So
Sure, sure.
these.
Do you want me to repeat? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes. Yes.
I was
Sure.
just talking that you have already actually covered, a lot of
Yeah. Right.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you can just shed light on the most important ones as we move on.
Yes. Yes. So, like I already mentioned, I think some either of them on the front end, a React or an Angular, right? And then Java along with Spring Boot, Spring, and with Hibernate. And then on the testing side, you would need JUnit. And how you containerize your application, it's with Docker. And finally, you deploy it through a CI/CD pipeline. That's where Jenkins comes in. And yeah, you of course need Maven or a Gradle to build and manage the dependencies. That's one thing. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've covered this in my presentation as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I think you've already talked about the projects, right? How exactly are these projects and what exactly are these projects and how are they important?
Mhm.
But just to quickly summarize, what are capstone projects, just to give them an idea, what are being covered here?
Yeah, so like I mentioned already, we have some of the real life business cases that I've walked you through. Some of these might be useful for your capstone projects, right? So you can use that in your project and build an end-to-end application, and that ways you get familiar with your front end stack as well as the back end stack, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering that. And yeah, I think we move on towards the industry trend slide here. I think we've already gotten a question here. How much does a first software developer, is earning approximately today? So the global task management software market size stood at USD 1.7 billion in 2023 and is projected to reach USD 4.5 billion by 2026. And we will be seeing a 13% CJR estimated growth by 2026 and 30% increase in the job demand as well. And for a software developer, just to give you an approximate from Glassdoor here, the minimum salary starts with 70,000 USD dollars and goes up to an average of $77,000 dollars. And it can go up to a maximum of $85,000. Again, it can be more than this as well. We are just giving an approximate here, just to give you an average, what is the current salary and industry trends going on in the software development industry and who are eligible to take up this program. So quickly taking you through that as well. So you need to have a basic understanding of programming and mathematics. Any technical degree or equivalent such as BTech, MTech, or a degree in engineering or bachelor's is basically required. And you do not need any work experience for taking up this full stack Java development master's program in collaboration with IBM. But in case you have any work experience, that definitely acts as an advantage, right? In any field you have worked in your professional life. So that is also okay if you have a good amount of experience as well, and if you're planning to transit to full stack Java development. Now, quickly taking you through the learner outcomes here. So, interestingly, the previous classes have consisted of learners coming from excellent organizations like Amazon, Microsoft, EY, Dell, Deloitte, Oracle, IBM, Bosch, just to name a few of them among hundreds of them, and diverse industries like software product, information technology, BFSI, telecommunication, and many others. And yeah, let's see what the learners are saying here. So full stack Java developer course learners, what are they saying? So let's see, like Manish Masha here shares that he was looking for a new job with a better salary and position. So he knew he needed to upskill. And his experience with Simplilearn was very good. And each topic was innovative and interesting with quality content. And after completing the full stack Java developer course, he landed a new job with New Geo Info Technologies with a 30% salary hike. And also, let's see what the next learner here has to say. Akshay Iran Jagdat shares that after the graduation, he was unsure about his next steps. So during his research, he found Simplilearn's full stack Java developer course, and basically Simplilearn provided online classes, self-learning resources, and also recorded videos for revision as well. After completing the certification, the placement process began, and within 2 months, he got a job. And yeah, and just to sum it up, what exactly you'll be getting from this program. So you'll be getting a Simplilearn's full stack Java development certificate here. You can see it on the screen here. You can see it will be for the full stack Java developer master's program, and your name will be here, and accreditations you can here see on the certificate. Also, you can check out more learner reviews. I'll share the scan code of the program shortly, and where you can go and download the syllabus as well. And 20 plus hands-on projects you get to work on, which gives you that basically hands-on experience. Caption projects in 4 different domains you can choose from, and a career assistance program as well. And also, basically, this bootcamp will be rigorous and intense, time-bound, and outcome-driven. This will be entirely delivered online to your device, live interaction with the instructors and classmate. That makes the session, even more interesting. And you closely basically get to interact with the instructor and the classmates globally. And also, the program duration is of 6 months. You can just complete it by giving 5 to 15 hours per week. And depending on the kind of time you have, that this much should be sufficient. And yeah, labs and projects to verify your skills. And there is a 24/7 learning support also available. So the learning support is provided by Simplilearn in the learning environment management system, where the support tool actually helps you with any kind of query you have once you basically take up the program. And in that, you should get response within few minutes. So to help you out, it can be anything about the certificate, the labs you want to access, the timing of the classes. If you're not able to see, if you miss something, if you want to see the recording of the previous classes, you might not be have able to attend. And yeah, any kinds of assistance, the learning consultants will help you out. So yeah, with this, I would like to conclude and move on towards the enrollment poll of the session here. So, are you interested in enrolling into the full stack Java developer master's program in collaboration with IBM here? I'm just launching this poll where we would like to know your interest, and you can share your response as yes on the poll which is launched live now on Zoom. And after this, we'll be quickly going through the enrollment steps where I'll share the steps and what exactly will happen after this. We do have installment and EMI options also available regional wise. So you can take up that option in case you're not able to pay it entirely altogether. So I'll help you with that as well, how you can basically, where you can check out for your own region and the program fee as well. So I quickly take you through that once this poll is done. I see most of you have already started responding. That's great. A lot of you have already started sharing interest. That's great. And folks who are watching us on our YouTube channel, I see folks, are responding there as well that they want to check out the details. So what you can do is, if you're watching us now, live now, so you can go to the live chat, and on the top itself, you will see the full stack developer program links there. And you can click on that. And once you basically land to the page, you just have to share a few basic details. And similar process will be followed. The learning consultants from Simplilearn will reach out to you, and I'll share the enrollment steps just after the poll here. And if you're watching us later, you can check out the description. And in the description, you'll find the link on the top. So yeah, I think most of you responded. And let's give it like 10 more seconds for the enrollment poll here, because we are a little tight on time here as well, and we would love to address your questions as well. So are you interested in enrolling into the full stack Java developer master's program? This is in collaboration with IBM. And you can see the poll which is live on Zoom here. And yeah, which is asking you just one question: would you like to enroll? And you can respond as yes to share your interest towards enrollment. And yeah, last 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. let me quickly end the poll. Thank you so much. Thank you, folks, for sharing interest and a lot of good questions in the Q&A as well. We are eager to touch those questions and quickly taking through the enrollment steps here. So there are three simple, easy steps you'll have to follow to enroll into the program. So step one here is you'll have to submit an application to us at askus@simplilearn.net. Step two here is your application will go for review based on the eligibility and prerequisites which I've shared earlier, and we'll review your qualifications. And step three is based on the both initial two steps. Once clear, the learning consultants from Simplilearn will reach out to you with the admissions offer. So we're just making you aware what's going to happen next, and then we move on towards the program schedule and the feedback. So the cohort which is starting next cohort, the current cohort is completely filled. The next cohort which you can take up in is in August, and I'll share the scan code of the basically program after this, and you can basically check out the upcoming cohorts and basically the financial options as well, for your own region. So just sharing quickly, for US candidates, the fee here is $1,449 dollars including GST, and for Indian candidates here is 40,000 INR rupees including GST. Again, like this is a discounted price; it can change, every day. So I'm just sharing with you here. And the details about the program will be sent to you over mail as well. So in case you want to check out details in more over your mail, you can expect that from us within 24 to 48 hours. Now, for more assistance, even after the webinar, I'll share an email ID in the chat. You can make a note of it. That is askus@simplilearn.net. So you can reach out to us there in any queries you might have about this webinar or even other programs as well. And now quickly moving on towards the Q&A part of the session here. So, Geethika, I see so many questions here in the Q&A box. I think you managed to answer few of them from the YouTube live chat box, and initially, I think you have already done that. So I think I'll give it over to you to just take a lead here and see the questions, which we can answer. We just have few minutes left, and if you don't mind extending 2-3 minutes also, like that is also okay. So we can wrap up like in 5 minutes as well.
Yes. So yeah, I think Java is getting off-dated. Does pursuing Java? I think a lot of them I have already answered. Right, this one and CI/CD. I think now we have got the answer. I think looking at the time, it was a pretty early time before the slide was reached. But yeah, CI/CD is nothing but a continuous integration and deployment, right? So full stack developers or full stack development, it's like more versatile and flexible. So and basically being agile, it's kind of totally agile. So we need to continuously deploy our code. So for that we use CI/CD via Jenkins. It might be Bamboo or Bitbucket. Yeah, so that's what CI/CD is all about. And to learn Spring Boot, is Java required? Yeah, so Spring Boot is basically a framework that is designed for Java. So earlier it was like you had to use Spring, which was much more difficult to integrate with Java. But now that you have Spring Boot, it's really easy to dive into Java full stack development, because Spring Boot does a lot of the things on its own. Like we just have to use some annotations and you are done. You have the dependencies injected, you have the inversion of control applied, everything. Right, so that's really something that makes it easier to learn Java full stack using Spring Boot. Yeah.
Yeah, Geethika, I think in the starting of the session, when you answered one question, which stack is better for beginners, there is an ongoing discussion right now, which stack is better, and people are discussing it while we're speaking on the YouTube chat box. So just comparing the stack. So yeah, just to let you know.
Yeah, so I think I've already answered, right? Java, I mean, the Java existence, how it has evolved. It has a really concrete ecosystem and community support. If you speak about that, that's also really good with Java, which makes it it will never go off track from the industry. When you consider the scalability and security of the applications also with Java, it always stands out. But yeah, I agree that the adaptability and it's quicker when you if you want to be a full stack developer, for the sake of a full stack developer, it's easy to learn mean stack or merge stack. right? But the flexibility or the other features that Java full stack delivers, it's always recommendable, right? Yeah. Which database is best for Spring Boot? It totally depends upon your use case actually. If you are good to go for a NoSQL DB, you should go for MongoDB. Otherwise, SQL or Postgres is totally fine. As a beginner, which one we need to learn? Spring, JPA, or Hibernate? JPA, it makes it easier. Spring does it, like I already said, it's a framework, right? So it will a lot of things get covered by itself. So you don't have to actually dig deeper into Hibernate or the underlying system, but JPA does itself on helping you with the persistence. Okay. Can you touch upon the actual softwares, libraries, or frameworks being used during MVC? So some or like the most important libraries that come to my mind, which are very recent and yet used everywhere in the industry, it's Mapstruct and Lombok, right? So earlier, what we had to do, if you need to convert from one particular object to the other, we had to iterate over the entire object and all the properties or the attributes, and then you have to create the new object. But now with Mapstruct and the Lombok coming in, it's really easy to even the lines of code, it has totally reduced when you have Lombok in place. And Mapstruct, again, as the name says, it helps with mapping from one object to the other. So yeah, that's about the libraries that I would like to talk about. And then initial salary, yeah, that's all answered by Rasha. About cloud, what do you recommend? AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud? I wouldn't stick to one, but I've had the experience of learning or working with AWS, and it really counts, and then Azure. Every see all the features are available in every cloud. Only thing is that the name differs, or a bit of how it is named, but otherwise all the features are available in all the three options actually, right? Is it more beneficial to learn full stack or generative AI? It again depends totally on your passion, right? And AI, yeah, it's totally there in the industry now. And I also read a question, if Java also has AI libraries, right? Yes, we do have OpenNLP, right? That's all in Java. So that's there. Java also helps or goes along with AI ML. I'm new with Java program. What are the main features of Java? Yeah, I think that's something that you have to really look into, and that's actually the building block, right? Encapsulation, inheritance, that's all the basic object oriented structures that you have to learn in Java, which will help in you getting converted into a proper Java developer. That's very important. um, Dependency management, Maven or Gradle, both are good, but Gradle is a bit more on the advanced side. But to start off with, if you're someone who is in the junior tier, I would recommend Maven. You can get started with it. There's no harm in using both. Mm, yes, Rasha, do you see any questions that I have missed?
Uh,
Otherwise, I think.
I think they're asking you for LinkedIn. I share that. I'll share that. I share that
Okay.
in the next slide. So you can also tag her on the certificates you will be getting. So folks who are waiting for the certificate poll, just wait for like 2 minutes more. Just checking the questions here. I think you have answered most of them, Geethika. I just have checked. I'm checking questions. Oh, okay, project slides as well. For
Yeah.
that, I'll share the program page code. You can go and check out all the details there, download the syllabus as well, and in the next slide. So I think with this, I think we can conclude. Like we have exceeded the time as well by 5 minutes. I think let's move on towards the end. And yeah, I think we have managed to address most of the queries here. Thank you so much, Geethika. Thank you for your time here. Thank you for taking us through the industry trends, what's happening in the full stack Java development industry. Thank you for taking us to the program here, full stack Java development program, which is in collaboration with IBM, and addressing a lot of these questions, good questions you've gotten throughout the session. So, would you like to say something to the audience here before we move towards the end of the session? Because they've shared a lot of interest towards enrollment as well to the program. I think might be seeing. I think we might be seeing them in the upcoming cohorts.
Yeah, there's like only one thing. If you are passionate enough and if you have a goal, then you will really be able to achieve it. And Java full stack development, I would say, is one part of the technology that you would, really be worth investing. Yeah, so I really wish you all good luck and all the best for your career.
Thank you so much once again, Geethika. I'll just take 2 minutes with the audience here. Folks, you can just quickly go to this scan code which you're seeing. Either take a screenshot of it or just scan it quickly from your mobile, and it will take you to the program landing page where you can download the syllabus, check the fee for your own region, because I know a lot of you have folks join globally, and we have only shown you the fee for US and India. And this should definitely help. And in case you are not able to do that immediately, we will also send you the details over mail as well about the program. So please don't worry, just look out for your mail. And with this, we would also like to know, how was the session for you? How was the content of the session for you? You can rate us out of 5, 5 being the highest. If you had a good time in the session and your questions were addressed, so you can let us know by rating out of 5. I've just launched this poll on Zoom. And how satisfied are you with the content of this session? And you can rate us out of 5 quickly. After this, I'll be quickly moving on towards the webinar certificate poll. Thank you so much for waiting. I think, yeah, and questions about the LinkedIn, Geethika's LinkedIn profile as well. So what you can do is, now when I launch the certificate poll in the next slide, you can basically, tag our Simplilearn handle and also our expert Geethika. And I'm sharing her LinkedIn ID on the chat as well. And you should receive the certificate within 24 to 48 hours after you fill the webinar certificate pool. I've shared it on the chat, Akshit. So yeah, a lot of demand for the LinkedIn profile here. And also, we are using a hashtag, for the webinars here. Folks are actually showcasing their development, with their network on LinkedIn. And how you can find them is, I've shared the link. Use the hashtag SimplyGrow. And if you basically click on the link and go into right now, it has more than 150 plus subscribers there. It has 100 plus posts, globally from around the world. We've just done this like within few weeks. Just started this few weeks back, and people are showcasing it from globally. They're sharing their experiences about their webinars, and also insights, taking screenshots, and sharing the certificates as well. Might actually attract recruiters as well. If you're trying to stay up to date with the industry trends, then it is definitely useful for you. Now moving on towards the webinar certificate pool. So as you can see on the screen, this is the certificate you'll be getting, and this will be for the industry trends topic, and this will be from Simplilearn. And you can see this is John Smith. This is what I need from you, your full name. So I need that data in order to send you the certificate, personalize it and send it to you. And so the poll is launched right now. Please make sure there are no grammatical errors there. So to receive a proof of attendance for this webinar, you have to enter your full name as you wish for it to appear on the e-certificate. And you will be receiving details within 24 to 48 hours after you have filled this webinar poll. So yeah, just to be clear. So filling this poll is compulsory for certificate poll. Awesome. Folks, we have exceeded the time a bit. So I'm just trying to quickly wrap this up. Even after this webinar, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us at askus@simply.net. So I'm just sharing that basically email ID once again on the chat here. So need any assistance, you can reach out to us there. And yeah, we're here to support you every step of the way of your educational journey here. So folks who are sharing their full name on the chat here, we will not be considering that. I'm so sorry, because there's a lot of messages in the chat. It will be pretty hard to find your name. So please make sure we are updating your name on the poll which is launched. So, yeah. Last 10-15 seconds for the poll here, folks. Yeah. You should also receive the recording of the session. within 24 to 48 hours over a separate email in case you want to go through it again, in case you have missed anything. Awesome. I think last 5 seconds, I see most of you have filled it. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for filling up the poll. The poll was working. Poll was live. I see few one message here, and it's okay. Like what you can do is just drop us basically a mail at webinars@simplylearn.net. In case you were not able to fill the poll, you just drop your details here that you attended this webinar and requesting for the certificate. So you can just immediately just drop us an email there. So that's all. Just name the webinar as well. Now, yeah, with this, I would like to quickly conclude the session. Thank you so much, Geethika, once again. Thank you for an amazing session here. And thank you for the lovely audience here as well, right? Like they came up with so many good questions that makes the session even more interesting. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for being a lovely audience. And if you have any feedback for us, once I basically end the session on Zoom, you will be getting a pop-up by Zoom which says post-webinar survey, and it will have only one question. What can we do to make our webinars better? And we actually look into the suggestions you give, come up with these topics, which will actually help you out, add any value to you. So please help us with that. Take a moment and, share a feedback there as well. If you like something as well, so please do that. So have a good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good day, wherever you're joining us from. Thank you so much. Thank you once again, Geethika. It was a pleasure hosting you.
Thank you. Thank you.